All right, then. I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. We will move on our first agenda item, standing committee reports. First is the lease negotiating and real estate committee. I don't believe we have anything to discuss unless Dave or Bob, you have anything
I know.
for the committee? Yeah, we haven't met, so I don't think we have anything in the
I
works.
can tell you through Dawn that they have broken ground for the cell tower,
Okay.
cell monopole.
Gotcha.
So that should start going vertical shortly.
Do we know what the final timeline is on that then? I don't think it takes too long to put them up. but-
No, I think, yeah, I think the prep is more than, and they've dug the hole and had the rebar in the hole.
Right.
So I would guess probably by the end of October. Now, our lease payments should start September as soon as they break ground. So I reached out to Jim Rogers
Mhm.
and said, hey, what's the process? Because we've submitted all the ACH paperwork. Start making it flow in. And he said they were good for it. Once we get the paperwork in order, the first payment might be delayed.
Delayed, yeah. As far as that being like active for the carrier, that's what you're saying, October, you think that's when it,
Lease payments
okay,
to the authority. I'm not sure when it's gonna be active, probably November, I guess.
It's gonna be a while, I think.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for lease real estate committee? Moving down to the finance and operations committee. Barn pro shop future plans. Anything that we want to discuss, review?
And we kicked around several ideas, and I think we've come up with a couple of reasonable options to take a look at as far as what to do with the barn and the accommodating and pro shop. But not a whole lot has been, happened since then, so.
Did we submit our scope to the consulting group for the grant purposes, or are we still pretty preliminary on that?
Tom, I'm gonna need some help with the direction that we wanna go here.
I think as far as directionally,
If you could speak into the mic also, that would be helpful. Thanks.
I think we've got to get this maintenance facility squared away, I think, and get that included in the scope of work that we're going to do at Church and Knoll, because that appears to be the place where we're going to move it. Is everyone in agreement with that? I guess that would be the first. And we have Jim here also tonight. So will the plan be to move the maintenance shed, current maintenance shed, or the activities really in that to the municipal building that we're planning to build on Church and Knoll?
I didn't hear a strong argument against it. I think everybody was in agreement that that was probably the best location for it because it would serve the golf course and potentially the expansion on the sod farm.
Okay, then what we'll need to do is develop a scope of work for that building. What it's gonna look like, what it's gonna cost. So that would be the next step, I would say.
We have some of that already. I remember seeing a picture and a like overhead view of where they thought they would have to put it with the lines and then what they thought the exterior of the building would look like. I guess we just have to go back to them and ask for what they would charge for that.
Exactly. We'll need some idea of the cost involved.
Gotcha.
And then Cindy, anything else?
No, I've already reached out to DMA and asked them to update their quote their estimate, which was dated about this time last year. And that didn't include the maintenance facility.
Right.
So that will include that. And they're also updating the plan set to show the building. Now, Don had provided us with a revision to that, and he'd like it closer to the property line. We had a meeting with Scott Hain, the engineer. And the concern there is if we put it next to the property line, we need a zoning approval because setbacks. So we pushed it back, but talked about possibly putting a path between the back of the building and the golf course. So, and then we have the Texas Eastern line, which you know, and
Right.
so we'd have to smush it down towards the edge of the property line or keep it where it's at.
And
On the other side of the gas line.
Yeah, so that was discussed and they thought that there was some problems with that.
Okay. Well, let's get costs from them and then as
Hmm.
far as where and how it's laid out. At least if we have the cost, we can put that in the scope to submit that.
Yeah, so it would appear that it's not gonna be necessarily a recreation authority project, but a township project with the maintenance facility as a major component of that plan. So you're kind of off the hook.
I was gonna say, do we take it off of our agenda then as far as,
Well, at least the maintenance facility.
got it?
You still have the issue of the pro shop and what you want to do there.
Yep.
Which really hasn't been fully vetted. But in terms of the maintenance facility and freeing up that front area, you're pretty good.
But we'd still be on the hook for obviously demolition of that, or if whatever party we would partner with on that. That could be.
Of the
worked-
maintenance facility,
The old one, yeah.
yes.
Okay. Questions, further comments?
and then taking it to the next step. I just want to put the Recreation Commission or authority in the loop on the fact that it looks like we will select a consultant for who will help us get these grants as they might be needed. The first grant is going to be, we're going to go after a fairly significant grant. Multiple millions of dollars to sort of get things kickstarted here. And that would be the next step once we have the scope. Well, actually, it's a step that we're probably going to take at our next meeting. Who from the Recreation Authority were they on any of these Zooms, Cindy? No?
Yeah, the full committee was, Ryan, John, and
Yeah.
Dave.
Okay,
They heard the proposal from both of them.
okay.
Oh, yeah, the consultant proposals, yeah.
Yeah, the consultant
GSL,
proposal.
GMS.
Yeah, so we want to sort of get that process, moving along so that we can make some progress, hopefully in the next year.
Did you have one that you were? have
Well,
decided on,
I
or-
think I think the general consensus is that we're gonna select GSL. None of this has been voted on by the board. But and it could change. But right now, I think the GSL, and they're the ones that won't cost us anything. Won't be upfront money involved with their selection.
Is that the second one, Cindy, or the first one?
That was the man.
Can't remember.
I think that was the second one.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay.
And that's GSL?
Yes.
had we talked, wasn't their proposal such that we would, their fee would be like 15% of the grants received? Does that sound right, Cindy?
Right, I think it's 12 or 10, well,
They-
10.
They came at us at 12
Mhm.
and we negotiated with them and
That's good.
got it down to 10. And when you look at the scope of the project, as the other participant would, both organizations are gonna manage the development of the property for a numbers of years. And when you get right down to it, paying someone for 5 or 6 years, as we would have done with the other organization, when you spread it out over all those years, while this might wind up being a little more expensive, it works out to about the same. Because there's only gonna be one payment to GSL. And they'll manage that for 6 or 7 years, probably, most likely.
Yeah, the cash outlay to beginning is a lot less with that option versus the other one. Okay,
Okay, so we're moving along on that front. Then I guess, once we get a scope of work, the board will share that with the Recreation Authority.
okay.
And then to Cindy's suggestion, then we've got to start thinking about the barn and the pro shop almost sort of separately if we can.
Mhm.
Because that won't be included in the scope of work for the Knowlton Church track.
Mhm. Okay. Questions, comments? All right. We'll move down to budget to actual reports through August. Look at the general report first. See if there's any questions, comments, concerns on anything.
Your computer, this. Let you try, what's our cash? Where are we? Gosh.
Revenue.
Yeah, your cash is sitting at 653,000 as of the end of August. Which includes the 200 in the capital,
Which includes again?
which includes the 200 that we put in the capital. So that's your general fund and your capital. 653, 654,
Which one are you looking at there, Cindy? The general
trial balance.
trial balance? Gotcha.
link on the agenda.
It's always a good sign when the auditors request Jim to justify why the revenues have increased so for this past year.
Well, Jim's managing more effectively
Mhm.
This year. I probably asked this the last time, or at our last meeting, but we're investing some of this balance in.
The capital reserve is in the money, is now, sorry. The capital reserve is now a money market account, so that is earning more interest.
Did go down month over month though. I'm assuming.
For August.
The rate, because the Fed cut interest rates last week.
They cut it by 0.5%.
Yeah, so the money market amount probably went down accordingly.
Yeah, I guess I haven't done the analysis, but, because rates are sliding, would it be wise to lock in to something maybe on a 6-month basis?
Absolutely, I can look into that, see what rates I can get and
I can tell you pretty much from experience that anything on the super, super short terms probably gonna be higher than the money market rate, but anything more than 3 or 6 months is probably gonna be at or below what you're getting on the money market rate.
I'll see what.
But I'll let you
see
see
I
what
can
they
do.
say,
I'll
yeah.
see what I can do. You'll be getting a call.
And then we just have to decide how much we would want to lock in.
Any questions on any of the reports provided? Did any of these change after talking with the auditors, or is that something that you'll address on?
We've not gotten a final report yet.
Gotcha, okay. All right. No questions, comments? Anybody need more time to look through anything? I'll go to cash requirements for 7/25 to 8/28, which was our meeting that we weren't here for. See if anybody has any questions. Do we need an action item on that, or do we take a vote?
You should.
Okay.
And you can do both at the same time.
Okay. So take a moment to look at both. The first one, I think we all have already seen.
Yes.
Any questions, comments on the cash requirements reports, both? I would make a motion to approve both the 7/25 to 8/28 and 8/29 to 9/25 cash requirements reports.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor of approving both cash requirement reports, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Approved.
Just as a side note, the payment for the golf carts, we had been planning originally to do that in October. So that'll be on the cash requirements then for the next month.
Gotcha.
It doesn't come as a shock when there's 142,000.
On there. All right, moving down the agenda here. Old business, golf operations update. Jim, any color on this report that you provided here?
Nothing to add, just having another good month, and we're on track to have a good September as well. We did have some personnel changes, but we can get into that later.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Jim on the report? Moving down, goals, objectives for the golf course. I'd open it up for any discussion board members want to have.
I've got nothing.
All right. We'll move down to new business, personnel update. Jim or Cindy, give us any update on
Yes,
personnel.
so for those that don't know, Don Bechtel, he's our new superintendent. He replaced Joe Muha last month. He was our assistant, so he's now our superintendent. So he's moved right in, and so then we left an open position as the assistant golf maintenance superintendent, and we have filled that with Brian Brennan. Brian was a former part-time seasonal employee with the golf course, worked maybe 6 years? Not quite that, okay. So they were familiar with his work, his ethic, and we made him an offer and we hired him.
Good.
Good. How's,
Welcome. Awesome.
Jim, anything you want to add?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, personnel related?
We do need an executive session after we're done.
Gotcha. All right. We'll move down to minutes from the previous meeting. Everyone take a look, see if there's anything on there that they have questions or additions to add. Do we have an update on the sprayer?
Been delivered and in operation probably 2 months now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and paid for, I believe.
Have that meeting too.
Sprayer and yeah, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from July 24th.
So moved.
All in favor of adopting July 24th minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are,
I'll have to abstain, just I wasn't here for that meeting.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Tom.
Thanks.
Any public comment? I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Go ahead.
One more quick question. Going back to the golf carts. There's going to be $142,000 payment in October. Okay. And how much more will we owe?
I was afraid you were gonna ask me that. I think this is the last payment, but I'm not.
Awesome. I
positive.
was hoping it was the last payment.
I won't swear on that, but I believe this is
Okay.
the last one.
All
I was thinking
right.
it was 1 or 2, yeah.
That's good to hear. That's it for me.
Comments, anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn and move into executive session.
So moved.
All right, meeting is adjourned and we are moving into executive session. Thank you, everyone. Yep.
All right.